level of respect for him to know what he's been able to do, what he's done is tremendously increased. And to know that he's here with us on these calls, just to share the information that he's sharing with us, make sure you take advantage of it. What this is a talk with the finance doctor. So I'm going to turn this call over right now to none other than our business partner, Dr. Craig Bythewood. Dr. Bythewood, are you on the call?
Yes, I am. How is everyone doing this evening? So I'm extremely excited, just like Tasha is, just like Pastor Bird is, because you all are really taking this seriously. You all are really going in. And the competition, I love it. I'm so competitive that my children will not even play Foursquare with me. So I get it. I am 100% with you, and I'm looking forward to see who will get the Starbucks gift card. And there's so much more than coffee at Starbucks now. They've got food, and they've got teas and drinks and all kind of stuff. So it's a lot more than coffee. So whoever gets it will be able to utilize it. You'll find something there that you like. So good job, Pastor Bird, as always. So I would like to welcome everyone to a talk with the finance doctor. And tonight, we have an opportunity to continue this momentum. I spoke on Tuesday about how excited my trip to the IML SOARS conference was. And they began to sell tickets for the next conference, which will be in March in Las Vegas already. And if you buy your tickets within the next 30 days for a VIP, which is the only way you should carry yourself, it's $100 off. And for the regular season or the regular ticket for anybody who you may know that's not on your level yet, it's $50 off. So very important that we begin to think about that now and to make plans and just to put ourselves in a position, because I'm telling you, 25 years in the industry, I walked in here with knowledge and understanding of the markets. Since December, when I joined IML, I've learned a whole nother level of understanding and application. But that weekend, when I tell you I took a quantum leap in terms of my understanding, and here's something that you really should understand. Here's some value you should understand. You could hear about it as much as you want. You can listen to stories, you can read excerpts, you can get notes. But there's something about the energy that you feel when you're in the building and you're hearing someone tell their story. Their story has energy associated with it. And that energy literally comes off of the stage and hits you. Literally, every time I'm doing IML since I came back from that conference, I'm whistling. I'm excited. I am so ready to do everything that we're talking about because I've heard the stories. I've heard how this has really moved someone's life. Here's an example. Tasha Dyer just made the point that we need to make sure that we do IML Academy first and then come to these forums. Not necessarily mine, but definitely Pastor Bird's, because Pastor Bird's is applied. It's applied training. So in order to understand the applied training, you have to have the foundations and the infrastructure first. So hear me, learning it from him is not the same as learning it from the academy, because the academy will give you terminology, it'll give you definitions, it'll show you how it and then when he makes a comment where he's applying, he says, and then you do this, and then you do that, you have it in context. It's very important. I remember when I used to do a lot of sermons, I would always say when I was talking about a particular scripture, I talk about what happened before the scripture, and I talk about what happened after the scripture. And I would say it's important to know the pretext and the post-text so you can put it in context. Okay, that's cute. And it made everybody say, But the bottom line is we need to utilize that same principle when it comes to IML. We have to get our academy training first. I've used the analogy before about it being a cake. And once you have that cake, it's going to taste good by itself. But when you add that frosting to it, it's a whole nother level. So the IML Academy is your cake of information. And these trainings that you're getting from Pastor Bird, they are the frosting that you're putting on it just to make it a little sweeter. Then Thursday night live, that's when you're adding a little ice cream to it. So we've got a sweet treat that we're going to utilize to be able to take ourselves on the other side of wealth and abundance. Now, I have quite a few things I'd like to say. But before I do that, I'd like to open it up and see if anybody has any questions about anything before I tell you a little bit about my story. We have some guests on the line tonight, and I think it's important that guests understand why I'm here, why I'm so excited, why I'm so amped up, why I'm so pumped about what we're doing here. So any questions from anyone? Okay. So since we're talking about stories and the impact of stories, let me tell you mine. I am 51 years old. I was born in Tampa, Florida. Yes, I'm going way back to that. In a little manger, I'm just kidding, at Tampa General Hospital. And I was born, and fast forward to me graduating from Jefferson High School in 1984. And I immediately went to Howard University and I majored in finance. Maybe one of these finance doctors, I'll tell you why I majored in finance. That's another story for another evening. I majored in finance, and when I finished my when I finished my undergraduate degree, a BBA, a Bachelor in Business Administration, which is a concentrated degree that specifically addresses business. Again, my major was finance. Then I immediately went into a PhD program at the University of Florida. And I was there for 5 years. When I finished my PhD in finance, I was 26 years old. And there were a lot of things that were important to me at that moment. I wanted to give to my community. I wanted to give to my industry. At that moment, I had two distinctions. Number one, I was the first African-American male to get a PhD in finance at the University of Florida. 25 years later, I'm still the only African-American male to get a PhD from the University of Florida in finance. Maybe we can change that quickly. Second, I was the 11th African-American PhD in finance at that time. So a lot of things, a lot of goals, a lot of objectives that were important to me. Here was one of them. It was important to me that I would take the knowledge that I'd learned, take the information I've been exposed to for 9 academic years, take all the theory that I learned, and I wanted to apply it, and I wanted to invest in what I referred to at that time as exotic markets. What does that mean? Well, everybody's into the stock market. Anytime you hear anyone talk about financial markets, the stock market is the sexy market. That's the one that we go to. It's the default. Well, I wanted to invest in options and, most importantly, foreign exchange. So what I did was, please hear me on this, I made a decision to prepare myself to make sure that I had all the knowledge I needed to be able to invest. So I took myself in the lab and I began to do research on foreign exchange markets. We have a business partner named Bass Grant that always says this: it's better to be ignorant and on fire than knowledgeable and on ice. Well, I certainly reverse engineered that phrase because I kept myself on ice for way too long. It took me 10 years of preparation, 10 years of putting myself in the best position to be able to prepare myself. And after 10 years of preparation, I finally felt that I was ready. Hear me, because I'm going to say something about that later that's relevant to some things I heard on the previous call. So basically, I put myself in a position where I took 10 years to be able to get ready. So when I was ready, I put together a mastermind group. I put together several individuals who were all professors or consultants or different people that I dealt with in organizational, consulting, or academic life. And we were all heavy hitters. We all had credentials. We all had experience. And I put this mastermind group together, and we were going to be an investment group. And we put together a first-class business plan. Dotted the I's, crossed the T's. It was all of that. So we did the same thing that Xavier was talking about earlier. We identified brokers. So when we identified brokers, the first broker we went to said this to us: in order for you to invest in the foreign exchange market, it is going to take you $1 million of a minimum balance in order to invest. $1 million. So I remember distinctly at that moment thinking that this was a dream that died. But in reality, this was only a dream deferred, because now a married couple well-versed in foreign exchange investing thought it would be an excellent idea to provide a company that gives us an opportunity to do the same type of investing I wanted to do 15 years ago, but rather than for $1 million, $250 to start. So let's just make sure we're clear here. It would have cost me $1 million, but it cost you and us $250. I said yes to this opportunity after hearing about it for 13 minutes. Because it was obvious that this is what I had been waiting for. Now, here's something else to think about. I am an academician at heart. I look at processes and I analyze them, and I think about whether or not they're efficient and what's the best way to present information to people. I write curriculum, so that's something that I'm well trained in. So one of the things that I wanted to decide was how long would it take for an individual with no prior investing experience to go to IML Academy, study all of the courses, and be able to feel comfortable going out and trading on their own account. And the answer to the question was 10 total hours. So after 10 hours of you putting yourself in the position to study this material, you would have enough information to be able to effectively invest with very, very minimal mistakes. So let's review. It took me 10 years, and it cost $1 million. But it can take you 10 hours and $250. And you may be thinking, yeah, I hear what he's saying, but his numbers are off because it's $250 to start, but then you got to pay a monthly fee every month. Do you? I don't think I've ever come across a direct sales company that makes it so easy. All you have to do is find two people who are as like-minded as you, who are interested in being abundant, being wealthy, putting their family in the best position, learning a skill that will help them, their family, and future generations. Because hear me, I teach this to my kids. My children are learning how to invest in foreign exchange. And I've been a professor all my life, but I never thought about that. IML made it so that it became clear to me, wait a minute, this is a skill that I can share with those around me. So my children understand what foreign exchange is, and I caught them telling one of their friends about it a couple of weeks ago. So this is an opportunity that you have that is without any type of parallel. This situation is huge, and all you have to do is dial in. We have created an infrastructure with our Be Your Own Bank movement that makes it so easy. All you have to do is show up. Every Monday night, we take individuals who are new to the organization and we train them. All you have to do is send somebody to that call. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we have a talk with the finance doctor. We have training on Tuesday and live trading on Thursday. All you have to do is plug in. Then on Sunday nights, we have a leadership call for all individuals that are business partners in IML. So we literally make it so that it's so easy. Add to that this, for those of you who live in Florida, on October 22nd, we're going to start a BYOB national movement, starting in cities in Florida, and then we're going to take it nationwide. Because just like I told you that one of the things about the conference was being in the building with individuals that are sharing that wealthy story. I went from here to there energy, from rags to riches. That story, when you're in person, it phases you, it affects you. So we're going to take this show, this message, this delivery system, we're going to take it nationwide. So you want to jump on board. You want to get the people around you to get involved with IML because it really is the next level opportunity. Now, I mentioned that there's a monthly fee. And I mentioned that all you have to do is get two for free. Get rid of the monthly fee. I'm rapping. But I mentioned this on Tuesday, but I want to mention it again because there's some people here who weren't there before. IML is so cutting edge that they've now created a new concept called crypto mining, where they have understood that cryptocurrencies have become such a dynamic part of our financial system that they're here to stay. And every time there's a cryptocurrency transaction, there has to be someone in the middle of it that's going to create the public record. Just like the old prospectors used to mine for gold, we call it mining. And so interesting. I got excited today. I had an academic meeting today where different individuals from different areas of collegiate life were talking about their programs. And this one lady was talking about her business intelligence program. And she was saying how she used to have a class called data warehousing, but that's outdated. We're going to get rid of data warehousing and we're going to change the class to data mining. And I got excited, like IML is on it before the academicians are. He's already purchased the machines. These are artificial intelligence machines that allow you to be able to mine for cryptocurrency contracts. And every time you mine for cryptocurrency contracts, you get paid a fee. So I kind of chuckled when Xavier was asking those wonderful questions earlier, when he was talking about the fees and the right broker and all of that, because we're about to get to a point where that just won't matter. Those little pennies we're going to be giving the broker are going to mean nothing now that we are following the lead of Pastor Isaac Bird and we're learning how to identify patterns in the market that we can trade. And then we're going to be able to do the same thing with cryptocurrencies in terms of our swipe coin. And then we're going to be able to add crypto mining by purchasing a machine. And if you purchase a crypto mining machine, you never have to pay a fee for the rest of your life as a business partner. So I get it. It's new. This hasn't even come about yet. It was just announced for the first time on Sunday. So literally, this is brand new. So you don't have to understand it right now. What you have to understand is that this company and these founders are putting us in the best position to be cutting edge. They literally want to create wealth for others. You know, I said this on Tuesday, but let me say it again. This couple, the CEO and the CFO, they don't have children. So they've spent their life building their wealth, and this really is their family. And I'm telling you that they were on stage and they were bonding with different people and they were hugging different people and they were literally treating these people like they were their children. And I had an incident today with a company that messed up a transaction for me. So all I was trying to do was get the transaction to be fixed. and I was having a pretty good attitude, and I was just trying to be forward thinking. And there was a lot of explaining on their part and a lot of not owning it, and this should have happened and that should have happened. But one of the things that I kept thinking when I was having this conversation is that the company acted like they didn't care. The mistake that they made affected me transactionally, but it just didn't care. And it, to me, is the opposite of what I experienced from our founders, our CEO, and our CFO of IML, International Markets Live. So I'm going to do it again. Let me stop, let me pause, and see if anybody has any questions on any of the things I've said thus far, especially crypto mining. Any questions on any of the things that I've shared so far?
Did they mention the price point of the machine? I missed that.
They did not. They did not. And again, it's so cutting edge, it's not even out yet. It's not even out. So that's a good question. Who am I speaking with?
This is Xavier.
Xavier, excellent. You had some really good questions earlier today. I like the way your mind works. So they did not mention a price point. And I actually thought about that at first. Then I caught myself from thinking about that, and I changed my mindset to this. By the time the crypto mining comes out, let's be so successful at our trading that we don't even care about price. I had an old man say to me when I was in my 20s, when you make it is when you stop asking how much something costs. And I didn't understand that. I'm a finance guy. You're supposed to ask how much something costs. But now I get that. So great question. Don't know, but let's get to the point where it doesn't matter. So Xavier, since you brought this up, let me talk a little bit about that great question you asked in terms of the broker. Now, what I heard from you is I really want to know which broker to choose. Help me pick the broker. Give me the top one. I get that. I get that. I also totally get Pastor Bird's response to you when he said it's a personal preference. So I want to answer the question like this. Literally, the decision to get a broker, and this is totally Dr. Craig Bythewood's opinion. The decision to get a broker has a very, very minimal impact on your trades. So most brokers do the same thing. Now, there are some exceptions. For example, maybe there's one broker that doesn't operate in every market. So the price differential between the most expensive broker and the least expensive broker is tiny. Let me say it again. The price differential between the most expensive broker and the least expensive broker is very small. So that means there is no premium that I'm paying for any service, so I want it all. So the first thing I want to ask when I pick my personal preference broker is, what services or what markets are you in? If the answer is all, I want them. If instead they have some, well, we don't do this and we don't do that, I'll just go to somebody else. Literally, there are more than 1,000 brokers. And 1,000 is a lowball number. Now, after that, services offered, which is an easy answer, which is all. The next point you want to look at is fees, totally fees. And so when he was answering that question, you were kind of asking some questions, some follow-up questions to kind of understand the way the price works. So let me make it very simple. That pip gap you said was a good way, a good term. Let me make it extremely simple. Xavier, have you ever been out of the country and purchased currency at one of those booths? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so you know how when you go to that booth, they've got these blue lights, and the blue lights have all these prices. And next to each row, there is a picture or a icon of a currency. In some situations, it may be just the abbreviation, but you've got currencies going down the first column. Then you have two prices. There are two prices for each currency. There are two prices for each currency. Now, one of those prices, Xavier, is called the bid price. The other price is called the ask price. So what happens is that throughout the day, when that particular booth is buying and selling currency, Those are the prices at which they buy and the prices at which they sell. So every time they buy currency from you, they pay the bid price. Every time they sell currency to you, they sell it at the ask price. Let me do that again. Every time they buy currency from you, they buy at this price. Every time they sell currency to you, they sell at this price. This difference is the spread. The difference between ask and bid is how much they make. At the end of the day, those differences represent their profit. That's exactly the way brokers work. Brokers simply have a spread that represents their fee that they're taking on for doing what they do. Let me say this again. The difference between the most expensive broker and the least expensive broker, very small difference. So I have two questions for the broker. Number one, do you have any restrictions? Nope, let's do it. Number two, what are your fees? What is your bid-ask spread? And the lowest fee that does everything, that's what I want. Does that make sense, Xavier?
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Any other questions on that or any other topic that we can address? Any questions, comments, testimonies? Okay. The last topic I'd like to talk about tonight is this: fear. Fear. First of all, one of my Bythewoodisms is this: when expectation equals realization, it's equilibrium. If you expect something to happen and it happens, why are you mad? It's happening exactly the way you thought it was going to happen, so it's all good. So understand that fear is not just an emotion. Fear is an indicator. Be real with yourself. Think about everything you've ever done that was huge, that was big, that was game-changing. I play flag football every Wednesday night, and I play free agent because it's easy. But every time I bring my own team together, when I feel like calling everybody and going through all of that, I call my team game changers. Game changers, because that's the way we need to live our lives, being game changers. Why I like International Markets Live, because they're game changers. So think about it. Every single time you've done something game changing, you had a little bit of fear before you did it. You know I'm right. Think about it. You may not have connected the dots and put this together. Fear is an indicator that you are about to do something big. You're about to take yourself to the next level. You're about to make a quantum leap in your situation. So welcome it. Oh, thank you, fear. Thank you for letting me know this is the right thing to do. They say courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is feeling the fear and going through with that thing anyway. So I will be honest that I did not catch who said it, but whoever it was that says, I'm scared about doing your demo account, about getting off your demo account, cool. That's how you know that it's time. Because literally you're in a position to make something happen. I'll give you a quick example. When I was a kid, I wanted to be an actor. That was my dream, to become an actor. And I used to take acting classes at school, and I used to be in plays. Yes, I was the theater nerd, but I played football too. I was both. So bottom line, as a theater nerd, they would always tell us that when you're scared about doing the play, that means you're not ready yet. But once you got to the point where you started getting tired of the lines, you're bored with it, that's when you're ready. That's when you know it's time to do it and do the play. But there was always fear every time. The fear had to come first, and then doing it over and over and over and running the lines over and over and over. Mom, can you run these lines with me? Best friend, can you run these lines with me? Girlfriend, can you run these lines with me? The more times I ran the lines, I started to calm down and did it. Every time in my life I've done something game-changing, I've had fear. So please understand that that is a reason to keep going. That is a reason to practice your lines. Go to IML Academy and practice your lines. Go to your demo account and practice your lines. Gotta say this example. I was playing flag football last night, and there was a young guy on the other team, and he had his son with him. His son was like 2 years old. And he was just, first half, he was really cool and running around with flags and having a good time. Second half, he broke down. He was screaming and hollering and losing control. And the man was like, man, I'm so embarrassed and my kids acting like this. I said, look, it's all good. You just brought him out a little too early. He's 2. Next year when he's 3, man, he'll love this. And I told him that I brought my girls to all of my flag football games when they were little. Well, my senior decided to play flag football last year. Never taught her the game, just had her there, just had her in the environment. She played flag football, made all Western Conference, and broke the record for the most interceptions in the school, broke the school record for the most interceptions for a touchdown, and had never played the game. My point is twofold. Number one, sometimes just by being in the building, you catch an energy that puts you on the other side of doing this right. And that's why everybody on this call needs to start making plans for Las Vegas. Because when you're in the building and you're around people who are doing what you want to do, and they're doing the same thing you're doing, but maybe at a higher level. There was one session we went to, and the panelist asked one of the guys, he said, what's the biggest failure you ever had at IMM? And he said, the day I lost $9,000 in one trade. We want to get to the point where we can lose $9,000 in a trade and it don't matter. It's all good because we know it's going to be $29,000 on the next trade. We have to start thinking big. Here's my second point about my flag football example. I go to every one of her practices. And every time she has a practice, the practice is 2 hours. It runs exactly the same, very regimented. For an hour and a half, they do drills. They practice pulling the flags. They practice catching the ball. They practice running the plays. Then the last 30 minutes, it gets good. That's when they start scrimmaging. That's when I stand up and I'm all into it. That's when they put the flags on and it's on. You do your drills for 90 minutes and then you scrimmage. What's your point, Dr. B? My point is that's the way IML has set it up for us. Your demo count is just you running drills. You just run your drills. You do your drills. You go to IML Academy. You go to IML TV. Listen to these trainings. You run your drills. You run your drills. Guess what? Whoever said they were scared, you're ready. It's time to scrimmage. You are ready. You've been doing your drills. You've done your demo account. Let's put the flags on and let's make all Western Conference. Thank you very much for your attention tonight. Tasha?
Thank you so much for that wonderful information. It's just so exciting. It's just so exciting to hear and so refreshing to hear the perspectives, to hear the information, especially about what's to come. We already know how great it is, but just understanding and knowing exactly what's to come and where we're headed, that's so exciting. And what I want to do right now is I want to turn this call over to Mr. Rogers. Mr. Rogers, are you on the call?
Yes, I am. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, folks. I am absolutely excited to understand what we sat down to do when we looked at this vehicle to literally change the lives of the people that we care about the most, those that we hold dear to our hearts, our community. And the BYOB, Build Bank for Life movement was birthed. And folks, we've spent the last 9 months laying down the foundation. We've vetted the system. We've proven it. We've documented, and we've had such a massive explosion. We are really, literally, officially ready to launch this movement, as Dr. Bythewood stated, officially October the 22nd through the 28th, we will be making a loud clarion sound throughout the entire universe on how we're going to impact and change the lives of people, our friends, our neighbors, and our relatives by imparting this awesome information and helping them understand. So literally, folks, I'm telling you, and I'll get to this at the end of this conversation, but on the 4th of July, 2019, our movement, the BYOB movement, we will document 100 Chairman 10. I'm going to say that again. For those who don't understand what that means, I'll explain to you that later. But write this date down. July the 4th, 2019, our BYOB movement, we will document 100 Chairman 10. And we're starting from zero, and that will happen. And folks, I'm going to be honest with you. It's going to happen with or without you, but you have an opportunity to be the forerunner of what will take place, because this message has to get out. It will get out, and we're fully committed to making sure for those who decide to run alongside with us, we're going to give you all the necessary information. We're going to give you all the necessary inspiration, and we're going to hold you accountable to making sure that you toe the line and you help us move this agenda across the country, because we realize and understand it is a synergistic effort for us to have impact. And when I say impact, I'm talking about universal impact. I'm talking about global impact. I'm talking about changing the lives of people that's in your space to make sure that they're able to dominate their financial wherewithal and truly find themselves in a position where they can leave a financial legacy. So, folks, before I start, though, I want you to understand this. There are three types of people in the world, okay? There are those who are in the game, there are those who are watching the game, and there are those who do not know the game is being played. I'm going to say that again, folks. There are three types of people in the world. Those who are in the game, those who are watching the game, and those who don't know the game is being played. So for those of you tonight, how do you get in the game? Because you've been brought to a place where no longer you will have the excuse to say that I don't want to be in the game. For all of these years, we've been watching the game, and we had known the game was not being played, that you and I now have the opportunity to change our financial paradigm. And if you have a bank account, we're putting you in the position to literally do exactly what your bank, your finance institution has been doing to you and us for all these years. And how do you get in the game? I'm glad you asked that question. Well, first of all, you get in the game by making the decision and deciding that no longer will you allow an investment to change your life, transform your history, because no longer I want to make sure that you put yourself in a position where money will no longer dictate your decisions. And I find it quite alarming that sometimes, unfortunately, we as people, generally, when we have great information, we choose not to take advantage of it. So that's not the case no longer tonight. That's why we're so adamant about making sure that you take full advantage of this information. And how are you going to do that? How are you going to get in the game? You're going to get in the game by taking advantage of this vehicle that I'm about to share with you, which is we affectionately call it a dearly loved Our Markets Live. And I'm telling you, folks, I've been in this space for over 20 years. We've had the opportunity to build bridges. We've had the opportunity to help people become successful. And even from a professional standpoint, with 20 plus years in the real estate and the commercial lending industry, folks, unequivocally, after completing my college degree at Florida A&M University, having the opportunity to engage in professional sports, not making it any NFL roster, but having NFL tryouts as a competitor, folks, I can assure you that this vehicle is literally designed for you to become as wealthy as you choose to be because you have the right vehicle. So there are all vehicles out there. Some vehicles expedite that process quicker than others, but I can assure you, because of what this company has laid down, the team, the leadership that we've galvanized together, then we're going to assure you, and we're going to allow you to stand on our shoulders as we push you forward to be the best you that you can possibly be. And how do you do that? I'm glad you asked that question. Folks, you do that by launching and engaging and getting in the game with Our Markets Live. And what are we talking about? We're simply talking about the power of trading. You've experienced it for the last hour and a half of some fundamentals, some foundation, some understanding, being live in the market and being able to participate. So we're talking about the foreign exchange market. folks, we're talking about $5.3 trillion a day industry. Yes, I'm going to say that again. We're talking about $5.3 trillion a day that you and I have been missing out on because we did not know the game was being played. But now that you know the game is being played, now it's time for you to get in the game and most importantly, stay in the game. And then you combine that $5.3 trillion a day that's traded 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. You combine that with the cryptocurrency market, and that pushes that number up close to $11.2 trillion a day, folks, that you now have the opportunity to participate in and become your own bank. And that's available to you and I 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just like we've always heard it said before, money doesn't sleep. Now we know why money doesn't sleep, because of this market and this marketplace. So we're excited to know that now you can be in the game and take as much revenue to your place, your community, your family, as much as you decide to, because you're now going to understand how to utilize this vehicle of Our Market Live to accelerate your financial freedom path and now get your time back, spend more quality time with your family, have more impact in your community, being benevolent by once your resources, and then sharing this information for those who are not fortunate enough to understand that this game that they now can participate in. And why are we doing that? Because of leadership. Christopher Terry, 25 plus years in this space of training, teaching people, mentoring people, and his wife, Aisha Della Torre, our CFO. And this does have a direct sales component, and we make no excuses, and we're not ashamed to know that we are a part of an industry that literally has generated and created more millionaires outside of sports and entertainment. And Mr. Ivan Tappy, who is responsible for our Latin American expansion. So, folks, we have a foundation. Everything rises and falls on leadership. So, from a corporate standpoint, I would dare say that I would put this leadership team up against any Fortune 100 company on the planet. And then, folks, our team leadership, our BYOB movement, our BYOB family, the likes of Pastor Isaac Bird, who just pours out his heart, making sure you know how to execute, understand the dynamics of trading, the different strategies that are held on every Tuesday and Thursday night. We have the likes of Dr. Craig Bythewood, who's responsible for 25 plus years of financial education and literacy, imparting wisdom to you and I. And then we have the likes of Ms. Tasha M. Dyer, a retired United States Major from the United States Army, heading and spearheading our women's empowerment movement. Folks, so we've crossed every I, we've dotted every T from a leadership standpoint. And it all starts with you enrolling into our educational platform. Our Markets Live is where it all starts. Our academy literally takes you from pre-K to postgraduate. So it doesn't matter how devoid you are of this information, we are going to impart the right information into your mind and give you the ability to execute and be a part of the game and be a part of the biggest game. But most importantly, put you in a position where you can bring the championship home financially to you and your family as well as your community. So it starts with our IML Academy. That information is available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you have the ability to learn at your own pace, fast pace, slow pace. Whatever the pace is, you have access to this information. So it's no different than you enrolling into your local community college or your state university. But this information is specifically designed to educate you on how to multiply your money, teaching you to learn a new skill, and then put you in a position where you can transfer it for generations and generations to come. And then what do we have? We have our iMarkets Live TV, understanding that people have different learning styles. So you have the IML Academy, which is one-on-one, you and the academy. Then our iMarkets Live TV allows you to sit at your computer and experience our expert traders, giving you tips, giving you insight, giving you information. And then you have access, if you miss a live trading session, you can always go back and experience those sessions that are being recorded. So, folks, we're talking about full-fledged service, opportunity, online, offline, no matter what your schedule is. So if you're working first shift, second shift, third shift, there's no excuse for you not to digest this information and move your family to that place of financial wherewithal. And then the tools that we bring to the marketplace. We have the education, we have the live coaching, and then we have the tools that literally at your fingertips give you the same viable economic opportunity as the big banks of the world. We're talking about the Morgan Stanleys of the world. We're talking about the Goldman Sachs of the world. Folks, our harmonic scanner simply is designed to help you and I identify patterns, give us a high frequency rate of a rate of return of accuracy, giving you and I entry points, exit points, our stop losses, our take profits, teaching you and I how to mitigate our risk to make us extremely profitable, just like the banks do on a day-to-day basis. That's one of the tools. And then we have our web analyzer. It's a uniquely designed customization, gives you algorithms. It gives you different strategies based on your learning style, your personality, and then you have the ability to simply understand the pattern. Once again, customization designed to help you become profitable. And then guess what, folks? Once again, right at your fingertips. And we're going to teach you how to utilize these tools. But most importantly, we're going to put you in a position to be profitable because you are becoming your own bank. And the tools just does not get any. Christopher Terry, our CEO, the heartbeat of the CEO of our company, who's still actively trading, makes time out of his schedule as he's guiding this company, still gives you and I tips. His mind of 25 years of experience of trading, and he meets us every Sunday at 11 p.m. to share with you from his heart, his mind, how to execute. So that's once a week, folks. We're talking about where does that happen in any place or any company that you've been affiliated with, that the CEO of that company wants you to be better. And he's laid out the foundation and giving you all the information. And then for those of you who have the opportunity as you're learning, we've made it also simple and easy for you to learn as you earn with our swipe trades. What do I mean by that? I'm glad you asked that question. Our swipe trades is an app that you'll download. Literally, you get signals sent to your phone. All you simply have to do is have the ability to copy and paste, input this information into your trade account, and then you get the profit. In other words, our expert traders have done all the heavy lifting, and you get the benefit of their expertise as you're learning this information. So that's the swipe trades, which is focused on our foreign exchange market. And then the swipe coin. Folks, it does not get any better than this. I'm sure you've heard conversations. People are asking, well, what is that Bitcoin? What is that Ethereum? What is that Ripple? What is that? What is that cryptocurrency? Folks, as you're learning this information, as you're learning it, as you're being taught it, once again, our swipe coin literally sends you signals to you, and you simply put them in your trade account. All you have to be able to do is copy and paste. And folks, I heard something that's just simply amazing. Since we've launched this swipe coin, over 12,000 pips. And if you don't understand what pips are, you will begin to understand that means hundreds, thousands, and millions of dollars that has transpired since we've introduced this tool, swipe coin. And then to be adding cryptocurrency mining, folks, it does not get any better than this. So we have the best of the best of both worlds. So those are the tools. You have the IML Academy, you have the IML TV, and now the tools that will increase your profit margin as a consumer, as an education process, understanding as a customer, you would be enrolling into this educational platform. And guess what, folks? We made it easy for you to get in the game. People spend thousands of dollars every semester to enroll into a university, hoping that when they complete that educational process, that it would transfer and equate to dollars. But what I'm saying to you, suggesting, and I'm definitely for education, but guess what, folks? Learn this education right now. 9 months from now, you may have some challenges, but money shall not be one of them. So you can make that investment, enroll into this educational platform for as little as $250. That gives you an entry point into an online educational process that offers you up to $11.2 trillion a day that you have the opportunity to take full advantage of. And then why is that important? Because you'll add these different tools, and I suggest that you add all of them. Why leave any money on the table, folks? And then that one-time investment, and then to have access to this information on a monthly basis, there is a monthly access fee, right? But guess what? We've made it simple. We've made it easy. And I'm sure that you're excited about this information, and I'm sure that you know at least 2 people on the planet who are overworked and underpaid who need this information. It's paramount that you share this information with them. And by doing that, when they enroll, guess what? Then they're going to waive your monthly access fee. And if they choose not to, that's fine. But most importantly, you're learning the skill. We're teaching you how to multiply the money that you currently have, and then you have the opportunity to take advantage of it. And then lastly, folks, guess what? Why would you keep this great information to yourself? So we want to enhance your learning experience. as you're learning this skill, guess what? Be a part of this crusade. Be a part of this movement as we're teaching people around the globe to become their own bank. And how do you do that? For an additional $15, you have the opportunity to become an independent business owner. That simply means that you've decided that you want to get compensated from a residual standpoint by sharing this information with your friend, neighbors, and relatives. Why is that so important? Because guess what, folks? We all do it. You have always been in the industry of direct sales. You just not have gotten compensated for it because you referred a restaurant to a friend. You referred a hair salon to a friend. You referred a movie to a friend. Imagine this. Out of all the movies, all the restaurants, all the hair salons that you referred to your friend, neighbor, or relative, what if you hadn't gotten compensated over and over and over again for all those referrals? Where would you be at right now? So that's what I want you to understand and take away from this conversation. And by doing that, you now are eligible to receive weekly bonuses every Friday, anywhere from $35 to $5, depending upon how that customer decides to enroll into your organization. Folks, that's exciting. Every time you want to pay a raise, show someone how to become their own bank. Simple and easy. It doesn't get any more complicated than that. So, folks, guess what? We are going to do this, and we're doing it big right now, and we're adding you to this movement so you can engage and become your own bank. And then guess what? I want to leave you with this, because residual income is the most important thing that you could possibly conceive as you're learning this skill. Guess what happens? As you're learning the skill, you're also increasing your residual component, which ultimately is going to give you the benefit and the luxury of adding to your trading account, which is increasing your profit margin. And by doing that, you become what we call a Platinum 150. That simply means you've accumulated 3 customers, 3 individuals who've decided that they want to become their own bank. And by doing that, our company is going to reward you a residual income of an additional $150 a month, an extra $37.50 a week. Now, you're probably saying $150 a month, that's probably not that much. Well, let me help you understand this. In order for you personally to have $150 of residual income coming from your financial institution, folks, do you realize that you personally would have a minimum of $110,000 a month to generate an additional $150 of residual income? So my question is, how well are you doing with that extra $110,000 of liquid capital in your financial institution at this moment? So never despise small beginnings. And then we're going to teach you how to replicate this concept. We're going to show you how to invite people out to a forum like this. We're going to teach you how to invite them out to get trained, to experience our live trading. And then guess what? We're going to share this information on your behalf, and you get compensated. And when you accumulate 12 customers, you can do that as an individual, or you can do that collectively as a team. And when that happens, you're now what we call a Platinum 600. That simply means now our company is going to reward you an additional $600 a month, an extra $150 a week. So my question to you again is, what would an extra $600 a month do for you and your household? What would an extra $600 a month do for you having the ability to learn this skill of trading and then allow that to be a part of your trading portfolio? And then, folks, at this point, we're simply going to teach you how to replicate to elevate. Ultimately, we're going to show you how to become a Platinum 1000, which means you've accumulated 30 customers. And once again, you can get excited and share this with 30 individuals or your team, and we're going to teach you how to grow your team. And when that happens, once again, our company says, thank you for helping us gain market share. Thank you for broadcasting this message. And we're going to give you an additional $1,000 a month, an extra $250 a week, or an extra $12,000 a year. Once again, what would an extra $12,000 a year do for you and your family? Absolutely change your zip code. It would change your neighborhood. And then learning this skill and how to multiply the money that you currently have. And then lastly, I want to leave you with this. Becoming simply our Chairman 10. And folks, remember I said to you earlier, mark this date. On July the 4th, 2019, we will document 100 Chairman 10. Why is that so important? Because when you accumulate 500 customers as an organization, as an individual, then guess what? Our company says you are now a Chairman 10. We're going to residually make sure that you receive $10,000 a month, an extra $2,500 a week. Imagine what would an extra $2,500 a week do for you, an extra $10,000 a month do for you, as well as you learning this skill on how to multiply your money and become your own bank, folks. So no matter how many times I share this information, folks, the movement is alive. The foundation is laid. The train has left the station. Do not miss the train. So no matter how many times I share this information, there are always three types of listeners. The number one type person says, you know what? I trust the person that invited me out. I know they would not lead me down the wrong path. And besides, this just makes sense. So if you are that number one type person, immediately following this call, get back with the individual that invited you out, and they'll be able to take you through the next step in the process. And then there's the number two type listener that says, you know what? I got a couple of questions, but at the end of the day, this still makes sense because the banks have been taking my money, doing what they want to do with it. Now I have the opportunity to learn the skill and do what they've been doing and become my own bank. I'm all in with that. And then there's the number three type person that says, you know what? This just makes sense. I could not have talked myself out of it if I wanted to. And guess what? I'm all in. I love the movement. I love the camaraderie. I love the leadership. I want to be a part of something big that's going to change the lives, not only for me personally, but the people in my community, the place of fellowship, and do something that I now have the opportunity to truly leave a financial legacy for my children and my grandchildren. So with that being said, I'm going to turn the call back up to our host. We'll give you some additional information.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rogers. This Power Pack Thursday, this evening, the information. Thank you, Dr. Bythewood, Pastor Isaac Bird. Just thank everybody for tonight's call. So with that being said, Sunday night, we have our leadership call. We have our leadership call at 8 p.m. Same link, IamTheBank.net. We have our team leadership call. So for everyone on this call that is a guest, immediately following this call, get back with the person that invited you out. Let them know what number you are. And this will officially conclude this call. Everyone have a blessed evening and a wonderful night. God bless.